don't care.
Good.
Start the recording
Hope
on YouTube.
everybody
We can go
realizes
in just like this. I'll go to the mattresses from Marvel Snap. Yeah, maybe I'll download it soon.
I'm playing Doom. Fuck you guys.
Two things I want. The only two things I want in life, and they're completely not related. One, to beat Marvel Snap and to be the greatest that there ever has been. Two, for Kevin Feige to call me and ask me to be in anything. Completely unrelated things.
Look, all I'm saying is with Twitter.
All I want is socks with toes at the end of them.
Okay, that's just gross. Look, Twitter's
Speaking
dying.
of
Don't you judge me, Marvel Snap.
Look, Twitter's dying.
Circus
I could reach out
Charlie?
to Second Dinner right now and ask for a sponsorship deal for Press B, and they would probably give it to us. They'd be welcoming of a podcast where 1 of 5 actually likes their fucking game.
Yes, and I believe Marvel could really use our endorsement because I think they are starting to flounder. I don't think Wakanda Forever made any money.
Yeah,
even though it was one of the best films I've seen in a long time.
Press B for vibranium. It's way to go.
Vibranium.
Press V for crocheted pillows.
Yeah.
This is
Speaking
why you
of
can't play games
becoming-
while you're doing podcasts, Char. You get distracted.
Huh?
Speaking of becoming the best. Oh my. Okay.
I'm doing my homework.
Guys, we really
late.
should record this stuff soon.
Hey,
are
we
recording.
should.
Too late.
Yeah, we should
We're
go
live on
live
YouTube
at some
right now.
point.
We're live. We've been
Good.
live.
Here,
For like 2
does
minutes.
this help?
Is that a stream deck?
It's not a, not a sponsor.
Is that a loop deck?
I have a loop deck too, and a stream deck. I have a stream deck, a Steam deck, and a loop deck,
That's a
good.
lot
Is
of
that
deck.
a meme?
and a limp deck. Got
Oh.
Yeah.
Limp Biz
No.
deck.
Hey, who's hosting tonight?
That'd be me.
him. Limp bisc deck.
Yeah. The NASDAQ.
Give me something to stream.
I'm gonna stream your fucking face tonight.
God.
All right, go ahead and stop recording, and then we'll start up again.
Oh no, we ain't stopping. We ain't stopping. We're not fixing anything in post. We're just doing.
As
this
soon
live.
as we started,
Restart.
derailed it.
Kevin
As soon as-
Stop
Feige,
it.
if you're
Restart
listening.
it.
Hey,
Too late.
you know,
Hi, Jeff.
I think
Hi,
we're
Sinstress.
I think we're talking retro tonight, right?
Hey,
I'm
Jared,
talking
how
Marvel
you doing?
Snap all night. Pay attention, Eric Voss and the new Rockstar people. Screen Crush looking at you. Now you have to. add
Candy
all of
Crush,
them
we're
in the
coming for your
announcement.
ass.
All right, hold on. All right, we ready to
Hold
start?
on.
Hold on.
Yes.
Wait, we haven't started?
Well, no, I have to do the one-liner, right?
You are a one-liner.
Got him. Did
I
do
want
it
the
right?
heart rate monitor next week, Jared. I'm serious. I want you wearing a heart rate monitor during the podcast. We got to make this work, and we got to see if you're gonna
Oh,
stroke on it.
for you being wrong?
That's gonna be in the Press B stocking stuffers. Is heart rate monitors for everyone.
Look, I got two hands. One is truth, one is compassion. I'm sorry you just don't like either one of them, but Elden Ring does not deserve all those awards. I'm sorry.
Yes, it does. It deserves more than those awards. It deserves a humanitarian award for being made. and
Okay,
saving
okay.
a nation.
I know we need to start, but Jared, this is a real question for you. Is your favorite Final Fantasy Elden Ring?
Yeah, Final Fantasy ED.
The whole other Final
ER,
Fantasy
sorry.
doesn't go away.
ER.
Also, hi to everybody in chat. You're not catching us at our best, but in
I
a
feel
weird
like-
way, you kind of are.
Listen, I feel like Final Fantasy is a good ED drug name. Let's not be wrong.
All right.
Because if it's not, it's the Final Fantasy if it doesn't work, right?
Yeah. Final Fantasy 8, 8.5, somewhere around there.
It worked 8 times.
8 to 9.
Yeah. Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say it. I'm gonna just.
Final Fantasy X. XX.
All right.
Hey, could we have a podcast at some point?
Yeah, we're going to do that right
We really
now.
should.
I'm just getting ready. You guys keep talking.
Listen,
All right,
I
guys.
just
I
want
gotta
Intro.
get going.
Why are you talking now? You got to wait for the intro. That's when you talk.
All right, Marvel Snap. Let's do it.
if you liked it, you should have put an Elden Ring on it today.
All right.
There.
Gonna say?
Goose Fraba.
Goosefraba, another German
Okay.
words today on.
No. We're good. Okay. Nazis, demons, and id Software. 2 of the 3 are bastards. Why not all 3? Find out today on...
Nine talking over the intro.
We're YouTube. We're really sorry. I don't speak German. Hopefully, what Chard said was not offensive to somebody.
It was in English.
Yeah, it was
Was
in
it?
English.
The only German word was 9.
9.
It's been a long week.
Which is
I can't tell
no.
anymore.
That's safe.
Press B, sponsored by Duolingo. I mean, one of these days.
We're
And
bilingual.
welcome everybody to
Grandma's gummies.
I haven't had any
Unbilingual.
I've been sober all day, unfortunately. Welcome everybody to another episode of Press B to Cancel. Today we're definitely bringing our A game as we talk about basically the birth of a genre, the birth of the FPS genre, first-person shooters. Everybody loves them, but we want to talk about maybe the 2 defining games that's really started the trend. I mean, there was first-person shooters before. Well, was there? I guess we get to that. 2 of the original games that define the genre: Wolfenstein 3D and Doom, both by id Software. So I know when we planned this episode about a week or so ago, since then there was some noise that's hit regarding id Software that I think I want to address really quick in the category of screw you corporations. In Doom, yeah. So there's a game that came out a couple years ago called Doom Eternal. Well received, I guess, but when it was coming out, there's some noise about the OST. There was a collector's edition, they announced an OST, and there's a delay. And I remember at the time, there was the guy at id went to Reddit, as all good PR people would do, go to Reddit, and he was basically complaining that the composer of Doom Eternal was the blame for the OST being late. And I remember reading that Reddit post, and I'll put a link somewhere in the description of the episode if anybody wants to read. Felt like bullshit. And sure enough, this past week, the composer finally spoke out, Mick Gordon. So I'm going to encourage everybody, when you get a chance, go read Mick Gordon's basically blog post on Medium, and I'll get you guys a link. And he basically breaks down his contracting working relationship with id Software during Doom Eternal. It's quite a read. And like, I mean, you can read both sides of it. Bethesda put out a statement saying that Mick Gordon's accusations were very one-sided. But when you read Mick Gordon's account of the working relationship at id, it was not great. We're talking about not getting paid for 10 months, massive crunch, sleeping overnight in his office, under his desk. Apparently the way the music industry works for
George
games,
Costanza move.
Yeah, really. And the way it works is like if you do a song for a game company and they don't use it, you don't get paid. So what ends up happening is a lot of the time the music you work on gets rejected and you don't get anything for it. And id Software, as a matter of practice, stopped approving his soundtracks, his music tracks, until levels were later developed. And if the song they demanded he make early on in the process didn't match the level, they would reject it and not pay him. So there's a lot of that crap going on.
Wow.
And, ultimately, all the music they rejected, they ended up using anyway in the game, and later on on the soundtrack. So a lot of crap, a lot of nonsense. Enough that I would say, we're 2 minutes in at least. Fuck you, id Software. So I'm not talking about id Software today, but I encourage you guys to read these blog posts, read the Reddit posts from Bethesda, and it's just wild to see how fucked up the game industry is. What's up, GP?
Well, I just to call back to the opener one-liner, sounds like id Software are bastards. Demons better be on the list of bastards, but Nazis definitely need to be on that list of bastards, sons of bitches. So when you say 2 out of 3, it sounds like what we mean is all 3 are despicable pieces of shit.
Well, I'm going to argue demons are the lesser of the 3 evils there.
Of those 3, it
Wow.
sounds like
I mean, yeah. When you line them up, yeah.
Don't be
You ever
we
watch
can all agree, fuck the
Supernatural?
Nazis.
There's some
Yeah,
good
I was
demons
just
out there,
thinking
man.
that.
Yeah.
I've played
Well,
Doom.
you gotta be great with numbers.
Spots.
Yeah, Crowley ain't so bad.
That's true. Supernatural had some very relatable demons.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly. You've not seen Angel and Buffy? Come on, man.
Oh, come on. I grew up on
Not
that
all
stuff.
bad.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
I
all
grew
right,
up trying to fashion my face to be Spike. So, I mean, come on. I'm kidding. I didn't.
as
I
we
can
all
see
know.
it. I
It's
can
very
see
pale.
it.
You're my
Very pale.
GP. You're my Spike to my David Boreanaz.
Oh, my goodness.
I miss him.
Did we just come up with the best ever Halloween duo costume?
Maybe. You got
Best
bleach
ever
your
since
hair,
Cat
though.
Dog, huh?
You got to bleach your hair, though.
Done.
Done.
Like that would stop GP. All right. So I guess let's go back in time then. Let's talk about id Software before all this crap this week happened. Back in the beginning, when they were basically a small studio, I want to say like 5 or 6 people, and they were trying to figure a game to make, and what they basically decided to do was pull from their nostalgia, pull from their memories of playing a game called Castle Wolfenstein for the Apple II.
Yeah.
Now I know probably Sinistar's probably played it, but who else? Who has played the original Castle Wolfenstein? Anybody?
I'm gonna say no. I think the first Wolfenstein I played was 3D,
Okay.
which is
So-
probably pretty accurate.
I'll talk about that for just a minute. I know we're talking about specifically kind of the start of the genre, the FPS genre, but I definitely played it on my Apple II series computer. And much like my namesake, Sinistar, which had a memory for me that walking into an arcade, there was this digitized voice that, be where I live. The Apple II version of Wolfenstein, the top-down game, had digitized speech through that absolutely ass speaker. And I think I figured out eventually that they were saying Achtung or attention, but it was more just
It was great. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And actually, I lived in Germany for 2 years. That sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah. But I mean, it was a fantastic game. Hard as hell. I mean, tough as nails. I mean, most of the games back then were. One of the very first games I played that had kind of a sneak aspect to it, and a spy aspect to it. Like you could put on a badge and make yourself out to be, a soldier or whatever, and as long as they didn't detect you, etc. So, the other thing I wanted to bring up, you mentioned, were there first-person shooters? I can't definitively say that there were not, but I know that most of kind of the 3D realm during that time was basically simulators. So flight simulators, tank simulators, etc. So
Like
I
Elite,
think,
for example.
yeah, or Ice Fox or a few other games as well.
Here's a dumb deep question about that. And you guys may laugh at me, but don't roll your eyes at me, Jake. I see you.
No, you said dumb and deep. How's that possible?
Hi.
I made your eyes cross. Hi.
I'm dumb. I'm deep.
Wouldn't an FPS be considered a human simulator? Flight sim?
Or at least
Sim?
a creature simulator, because I assume that there are more than just humans that you simulate. But yes,
I can argue against that right now with one of the earliest first-person shooters came out before Wolfenstein 3D. It was a game called Midi Maze.
Oh, Midi Maze.
Later released for Game Boy and Super Nintendo as Faceball 2000.
Oh,
You played as smiley faces, all right?
I remember that, actually.
Midi Maze came
I
out
remember that.
in 79, I think it was.
Is it really?
Yeah,
that
I think it
old?
was fall of 79.
Okay.
I was looking, I lost it.
Face simulator, then. That's fine.
No, 87, my bad, 87.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
fall of
I think
87.
it did beat Wolfenstein 3D.
Fall.
That's the
At least it
thing
was fall.
With Wolfenstein 3
Confirmed
is actually had a port on a few different systems, and I guess we'll get into a minute. But it had a port on the Atari Jaguar, so I didn't realize that Wolfenstein 3D came out in 1992, only a year before Doom did in 93. I didn't realize it was recent of a game. That's wild to me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, and it's been rebooted, reimagined, reported a million different ways.
Although
And
never by Carmack and Romero. They basically left it alone after that. So anyway, go ahead, GP. Sorry.
No. I basically, the extent of my knowledge with, and I need to give credit where it's due. The Gaming Historian has a wonderful episode on some of the deep dive trivia for Wolfenstein. So a lot of my knowledge and experience with this franchise comes from watching, videos like that, and then also watching playthroughs. But yeah, I got to say, watching this, the original, I didn't realize was like this top down sort of. Forgive me, but almost like Metal Gear-esque thing where
It
you're going,
is.
you're
Yeah.
hiding, you're picking up, guns and ammo and all this various stuff. And I wish I'd known about it growing up instead of finding out about it later on in life. But anyway, yes, I
Yeah,
really dig the hell out of the early Castle Wolfenstein game.
it is very Metal Gear, absolutely. Instead of hiding in a box and being a walking box, you put on badges.
Yeah.
Badges.
Even though,
We don't
Fancy
we don't need no stinking badges.
Yeah, it's wild to me. Like, I know, Sinistar, you had mentioned before we were recording, or when we were planning this episode, you had mentioned that it was a top-down shooter. I didn't expect like Oregon Trail graphics. I didn't expect it to be Apple II. I did not realize
Yeah,
it was that old.
Like Smash TV was what I was thinking. Like
Yeah.
that kind of.
Well-
Which came first, Oregon Trail or Wolfenstein? Because they're right there, the hunting section of Oregon Trail. That could be your
You
your
can only
top-down
bring
FPS.
400 pound a Nazi back to the wagon.
Speaking of top-down shooters, are you guys aware that actually both of these games, Wolfenstein 3D and the original Doom, were built as top-down flat games,
yes,
and then the perspective was given to the player in first person, but everything
Yes.
behind that is run as an overhead game.
yeah. Actually, what's kind of cool too is there's an homage area to Pac-Man, because they kind of viewed it as making Pac-Man when they did it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So I guess to tie it back together, so Castle Wolfenstein was made by a different gentleman, Silas. I can't remember. Was it Warren?
I think
Silas?
so.
Silas? Yeah.
I think so.
So he's the one who created Castle Wolfenstein, which was a big inspiration to the folks at id Software who wanted to create basically a first-person shooter version of that. The idea evolved over time, and they ended up ditching some of the stealth elements. Well, actually, all of the stealth elements.
Right.
Carmack, of course, had this great new 3D engine. They had used it a couple times in a few different earlier games. But Wolfenstein 3D is when it really kind of coalesced together. So both of these games, I'll be honest with you guys, I never played either one of them when I was younger. And I think the first time I played Doom was on the N64. I've always seen Wolfenstein 3D in videos. I never actually played it. But when I did play it today, because I did that exhaustive research, the thing that struck me the most fascinating is the speed of the game. The engine is great. Like, it is a when I think early PC gaming, I don't think speed like that this game has. It's smooth. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
is.
Yeah, the movement of the character with the guns moving and the waving and stuff, there's a lot of smoothness to it. Actually, I think that was one of the more appreciative things that I remember specifically about Doom, when you had like the shotgun and when it would walk and it would wave while you were walking, gave you the feeling of more like, I don't know, it was a lot more immersive to me back then for that kind of stuff.
I just have to call it. I love the aspect of the little face to show you how beat up you are.
I love that.
Like here you've got BJ Blazkowicz in like just this like split chin, the dimple chin and just anger face, and then just getting beat down over time. Oh yeah, there you go, GP. We got BJ Blazkowicz right here.
GP Blazkowicz. Retrowitz.
Yeah, exactly.
GP
Exactly.
Retrowitz.
I smell a new Halloween costume, GP.
Yeah.
But yeah, the graphics.
That's not what that smell is.
Oh, nice. The graphics in this, I think, still hold up. I think the speed of the engine, the textures on the wall. I mean, obviously this is early game, but it still looks good even today. And I think it stands toe to toe with even Doom. I like how, first off, the level of violence in this game is pretty entertaining for what it is, right? It's pixel blood, but there's a lot of it. But there's a good variety of enemies and decorations and stages. Like, it feels quite detailed.
And you
for a
can
game.
you could differentiate like what each enemy you're going up against looks like. Like, it's not one blob guy and something that might resemble a four-legged dog of some sort. Maybe it's a panther. I don't know, but it's black and white and it's coming at me. It could be a skunk, but you can tell that these look like German shepherds, and these are obviously, blonde-haired German soldiers, and the detail on it is actually extremely impressive. Even the death animation, though, it's the same thing. It's still really well done, I think. So This one really drew me in when I first saw it.
One thing I read was prior to this, most of the engines that did, say, simulators and stuff would actually render kind of the entire environment. And part of the problem that they were running into with this level of detail was it was running too slow. And so Carmack actually, it seems like he kind of invented the feature where it only renders what's in front of you, basically. So, which is used a lot today. Like that's how Minecraft does everything. That's how, whatever's in front of you gets rendered and everything else just gets forgotten. Right.
That's really awesome because Carmack, especially, and not so much lately, but a couple of years back when Oculus was brand new, he was helping Palmer Luckey do a lot of the early VR stuff. And his big solution to a lot of the problems of VR was that focusing on rendering in front of you and dedicate resources to that and less around the peripheral. Like he was pioneering a lot of different strategies, and it feels like he's doing that all his life, even back to Wolfenstein.
Carmack is an incredible developer. He really is.
Yes.
I mean,
but to that point, if you're going to bring in Carmack, you need to know his advice is always going to be the thing that he kind of helped develop, which is just focus on what's in the field of vision. It's like bringing in young MC and saying, what should I do? You know, they're just going to say, bust a move. What shoe should I wear today? Bust a move.
And what's really interesting about John Carmack is he learned how to do this because he has no object permanence himself. And so if he turns away, he forgets you're there.
I like that. It's very characteristic of the person that designed it.
I hope the sarcasm came through there.
I forget things I'm not looking at.
He used to be at conventions doing various speeches and talking about stuff, and just listening to the guy talk gaming tech for an hour and a half is pretty awesome. I understand very little of it, but it's interesting to hear John Carmack speak.
Now, you also brought up the violence and the gore and the blood, by the way, really quick. I also read that when I think the president of the company, somebody complained and were worried that this was going to cause problems, they actually upped the quantity. They said they basically, it was kind of South Park before South Park, right?
Right. You don't think this is enough?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll fix that.
You're worried for the kids? Well, let's make it worse.
Well,
What's
and
wrong with
I like that.
You don't like swastikas? Okay. It's just, and that's actually kind of brings it to one point is for a PC game, I guess on PC you can get away with the swastikas, the portraits of Hitler, the mountains of blood. But when this game got ported to the Super Nintendo, they got rid of a lot of that. Did any of you guys play the Super Nintendo version of this game?
No.
Yes, I actually did way back when, and I don't remember too much. The only thing I remember is the fact that they weren't dogs; they were giant rats.
Like the
Nazi big change, and gray blood. As of course, when you shoot somebody, they sweat all over the place.
So they Mortal Kombated it.
Yeah.
No, they Bionic Commandoed it.
What's the game, GP? Is it Bionic Commando? Is it the one that has Hitler that's not Hitler?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, they changed it to Master D.
And
they changed, like, they removed all the swastikas and the whole all that shit, and they replaced it with things that were more palatable. And then of course they just said, well, we're not gonna change the graphics of Hitler. His head explodes at the end anyways, which I don't fucking spoiler alert. But so anyway, they're like, yeah, we'll leave that for that reason. But yeah, that's exactly what they did.
Another funny thing about the SNES changes is Hitler had his mustache removed in all the portraits.
Yes. Because if you take his mustache off, he's not nearly as evil looking, I guess.
Who even is this? Who even is this guy?
He's iconic.
And instead of the swastika under the eagle, it's just like a circle with a crosshair in it.
Yeah. I think I remember that. Yeah.
That's the Iron Cross thing, right? Because there's other games since then that were doing that. I want to say the early Call of Duty games were doing similar. They didn't put swastikas in it, but they would do German like
Iron
symbols,
Cross.
I guess. Yeah.
Well, I know that for a long time, Germany actually had like they have a ruling that says like swastikas and stuff are actually verboten. And unless it's art, and they actually did examine these, and they determined video games were not art. And then they finally actually like backed off on that. I think it was like 2019.
It's recently, yeah.
Yeah. And so I think now Wolfenstein 3D is legal in Germany.
The minute that they saw Tifa Lockhart, they should have realized, in fact, yes, video game is art.
Yes.
Especially when it's a giant statue of her with a sword.
$20,000 statue. That's nothing but art. Come on.
Wow.
Okay.
I mean, they're producing all the new Wolfenstein games coming out, so maybe they were like, you know what? It's okay now.
Okay.
It's the
and
future.
I'm gonna say this, and this, I'm just gonna say it. How good does it feel to kill Nazis?
Especially Hitler. That's at the end of the game. Have you guys seen the ending of the game recently? Do you remember what happens when you kill Hitler in this?
No.
No, I remember he's Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a robot. He's Mecha Hitler. But yeah, once you kill him, he kind of melts in the pile of blood. And then the game says, let's see that again. And it pulls it back up and does a kill cam. And it says kill cam on it. It's one of the funniest things I've seen in a while in a game. It's
Let's
hilarious.
see. Yeah, are you ready, kids? Let's see that again.
Right.
Yeah.
Once wasn't good enough. It's Hitler.
So I thought this was pretty awesome. This is a game I actually kind of want to play it. Like,
yeah.
The running around and the flashing when you pick up the pickups reminded me almost immediately of Turok. For anybody who's played Turok, the speed of the gameplay, it just feels like it looks like a really great game, and it feels really good even today. So I actually want to play this one. I want to play this more than Doom, to be honest with you. In part, that's probably because this is a series that has not ended. Although, like you guys said, Romero and Carmack have not really touched Wolfenstein 3D since this game. There's been multiple reboots and sequels and whatnot, and I haven't played any of them. I don't know. Have you guys played those?
Yes. The latest two were absolutely fantastic.
That was Youngblood,
genuinely. No, Youngblood is Youngblood is dead. Don't buy it. It is dead. You cannot play multiplayer. It doesn't work anymore.
Oh, really?
And it is a multiplayer game. It really is.
There's Old Blood. Yeah, there's Old Blood, and then there's a few other ones here.
Yeah. I can't remember what they're. Let me pull up my Mind
Return 2
Palace.
is the only one I've played, and that
Mind
was
Palace is pulled up. So it's like Wolfenstein 1, which is the new one, and then there's the new Colossus, which is Wolfenstein 2.
Right.
New Order is fantastic.
There's a New Order is the first. So New Order is basically the first Wolfenstein, completely redone for Xbox, PlayStation, all that stuff. Then Wolfenstein 2 was New Colossus, which is the newer one, and then there's another. I think that's Youngblood. That's what you said. That's the dead one.
Yeah,
Youngblood is the more recent, I think, out of the three of them.
Yeah, I feel like we were hearing about that a couple years ago. That's odd. It's down already.
Yeah, if you go to the Steam discussions, everybody tells it's down. Like I even tried to play it recently. But new Colossus and New Order, beautiful games, fantastic. And once again, feels great killing Nazis.
Yep.
Always a good time to kill Nazis.
Mm-hmm.
And there's still an element of stealth, at least in the new ones that I remember playing. There's a couple areas that are like you got to take out these commanders before they alert the entire like army to you, and so you can sneak around. And if you take them out, then you don't have to worry about them calling reinforcements and whatnot. So there are many times where I was crawling around and throwing knives at things and being super quiet, much like it's a predecessor of the beginning of doing the Metal Gear Solid take. I mean, you're not hiding behind boxes or anything, but you're definitely jumping out of things and coming at somebody with a lead pipe or a knife or something instead of just guns ablazing. Like where, since we're talking about them both, we can kind of segue into the other one. These ones there's still a lot of, I want to say more natural. It's more humanistic. It's more real. That's still very much a stretch because of all the mechs and all the futuristic stuff that's in there. But you're still sneaking, you're still stabbing, you're still whatever. You go into Doom and you go into the new Dooms 2016 and Doom, the one I was just playing, Eternal. it is all about just kicking ass and taking names and not slowing down and not stopping for anything. And it's almost like each area is a mini game that once you unlock an area that you go fight a bunch of creatures in it, it's a mini game. It's like a game of attrition where you're going in and you have to last longer, and you're getting your ass kicked, but you're dishing out as much as you're taking. And every time an enemy dies, you pick up a little more health so you can keep going. And it's kind of the aspect of what they did for the new stuff to make it just a balls to the wall, action packed, kick ass game with the added soundtrack on top of that makes you fucking roid rage while you're playing this thing.
Well, I mean, that was always
impressive.
That was always Doom. I mean, because Doom introduced the quad damage, right? I mean,
yeah.
So it really was about like the benefit of quad damage is don't slow down. Like do as much damage as you can before it runs out, right? And so it really was trying to take that Wolfenstein, the Wolfenstein speed and make it even more frenetic, even make it even more, crazy, right?
Give you a chainsaw.
Chainsaw or the, BFG.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, real quick aside. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So real quick aside, I have to point out a little fun thing. So we're going to talk a little bit about how Doom kind of runs on everything. Like this is kind of a modern take of like, does Doom run on it? When I first started doing my job, which was, Linux administration and that sort of stuff, somebody ported Doom to basically take a listing of your processes on your computer and make them into monsters. And so it was called PS Doom. And so the whole goal was if a process froze and you wanted to have fun, you could spin up PS Doom and go chase down this particular process and kill it. And it would actually kill the process on your computer. Now, what was really fun is the first room you get to pick any weapon you want. Like the very first room is just every weapon that you can get. And if you really wanted to kind of, if you wanted to watch the world burn, you'd pick up the BFG and then just go kill all the processes all at once, including the OS process.
Oof.
That sounds like a bad idea.
Yeah, I agree.
Generally when you'd gotten to the point that you're like, this is dead enough, I'm going to spin up PS Doom, you were like, I'm just going to go kill everything.
Fair.
So to get in, I guess, in the Doom then. So Doom came out in 93, only a year after Wolfenstein, which is just crazy to me. And I guess the one goal of Doom, like you said, Chard, was you feel like a badass, both in the new reboots, I guess there's two of them, but even the original one. In the original game, sorry, in the very first 5 seconds of the game, when that guitar riff hits, you feel energized, and it's just wild. Like the soundtrack in Doom is so freaking good. And it's like it's iconic. It's a different composer than Wolfenstein, I think, right?
I believe so, but I'm not sure.
And I believe the guy got paid for his work as well.
Yeah, more than
already better than the new ones. Yeah, that's great.
I mean, it was Carmack and Romero. They probably were paying for their talent.
Yeah, but like the setting for Doom is wildly different than, obviously, and you're not killing Nazis, you're going after demons. But this seems to be in Doom, they expanded the amount of enemy types you come across. Obviously, the weapons are much more expensive. Also wilder, like you said, chainsaw, the BFG. Like the BFG as a term is in like every geek's lexicon. Like I remember a couple of years back, I bought an energy drink and it came in the BFG can. So like it's something that's just kind of like the stamp Doom had on geek culture. Is just amazing. So again, I haven't really played this one. I mean, I played the N64 version, which is not a bad version of it, but it's certainly not the definitive version of it. So I don't know. How'd you guys play Doom?
I played this on my PC. Man, my buddy and I growing up, we lived and breathed Doom for a very long time and played all these FPSs like this. And God, this was the first game that I was able to get on my PC at home and play at home, because my buddy always had a better computer, so we just go to his house and check it out. And then when I go home, I didn't get to do it. So he's like, "Oh, I was playing Doom all night." I was like, I was doing, Margaret Thatcher's word thesaurus thing, because that's the only thing that'll run on my potato at home. But my My dad finally.
Thatcher's
Yeah, you know.
I was just playing Nancy Drew, but I mean, Margaret Thatcher.
Nancy Drew.
It's fine too.
You don't like Margaret Thatcher's keyboard typing speed simulator?
I remember pirating Margaret Thatcher's word potato thing.
Okay, I want to point this out though. If your console or if your system will run Margaret Thatcher's thing, it will certainly play Doom.
They will now. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, does it play Doom?
Yeah, we later uploaded it to our Etch-a-Sketch and it worked great.
There you go.
I just remember staying up way too late, slaying demons, and the real pull for Doom for me was the weapons, the different types of weapons, the shotguns, the double barrel, the BFG, the energy pistol, all the stuff, and just the futuristic and the demons and the scariness of it. I mean, it was scary back then, right? I mean, this was kind of creepy. I love Doom, like where a lot of you guys talk very positively about Wolfenstein, which is also a great game. Don't get me wrong, but this was where my action was playing Doom and killing the pinkies.
Is terrifying. The end boss is absolutely terrifying. Like,
yes, he is.
The fucking devil.
Because I had trouble figuring this out.
Essentially, the devil.
Episodes of Doom,
it's a big fucking devil, essentially.
It's biggest devil. It's
like with
and shit.
Yeah, and rocket launcher arms and shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Okay.
It's
checked up. It's scary.
Yeah. Now I'm sure a lot of people have seen this. I don't know if it's been verified or if it's an urban legend that was, faked. But apparently you can run a very dumbed down version of Doom on a pregnancy test.
Yes.
I have heard that. Yeah.
So you said, well, yeah. What was your exposure to it? Well,
I peed on a stick and then played Doom.
No, so I wasn't allowed
before for my wife, and I don't think she would have found it funny, but because I couldn't find one. But I really wanted one on a pregnancy. I mean, the fact that it runs on a pregnancy test, the fact that there's that much tech packed into a thing you pee on, is just something that's amazing to me.
Well, and
we pee on a lot of things that have a lot of tech, Jake. Let's
we don't run games on them, Chard.
Are you talking about Tamagotchis?
You don't know that.
If I run in a toilet, is that going to be like the next big thing?
Hashtag bidet life.
Toilet of the year.
Can you put Circus Charlie in a toilet? Yes, let's do that.
It's already there.
Or sorry, Carnival Charles. But no,
Charlie Snap.
No, yeah. I maintain if they had ported Doom to a Tamagotchi, they would have sold even more.
Fuck yeah, they would have. Can you imagine feeding your demon? Oh, my demon's crying. I gotta feed him.
Well, if your Tamagotchi pet dies, then you go to hell and beat Doom. I think that would be wonderful.
Then a guy with giant rocket launcher arms throwing skulls at you comes at you.
Right. Yes. Yeah. It's a console that starts out for your younger, kid brother or sister, and then after a little while you can take over. It's great.
I don't remember if it's Doom or Doom 2, but there is a hidden ending after the boss where you take on John Carmack's head.
Oh, was that a thing?
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. I think that's Doom 2, actually.
That's
probably.
I didn't think that was at the end. I thought that was a secret you could find somewhere in the game.
It might be before the end, but I thought it was after you. I thought it was after you killed the end boss. You found you could unlock a secret room. But my memories. I mean, this is years ago, so I can't remember 5 minutes ago. Who are you guys?
It's because we're not in front of you.
God damn it! You beat me by 1 second. 1 second, you got there first.
You had to start with the look, and I just barged in.
Yeah, I love
it.
Did
you guys all play this on PC then? Am I the only one that played on N64?
Okay. I mostly played this on Super Nintendo.
Okay, good.
So there's one major difference between the Super Nintendo and the PC version mechanically, and that is every enemy is always looking at you.
Oh.
The enemies can never look away from you, so you can't sneak around them. You can't get back shots on them.
The sprite was basically like they drew one side of the sprite.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And so as soon as you open a door with a bunch of enemies, they're all just looking at you and know exactly where you are.
We can't fit the left and the right, guys. Just have them look at the guys. Fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
I wish that if you entered a room full of just they all looked at you and hi.
God. Can you imagine if that had been Metal Gear? Like, that would be the hard type ROM hack for Metal Gear. Every single room, they're just always facing you. Jeez.
Always looking at the door.
Yeah.
You guys are way too prepared. Come on.
Well, because that was one of the defining features of Carmack's engine for Wolfenstein and Doom was that the enemies could actually look in different directions, right? Up to this point, first-person shooting games, most of the time the enemy sprites were only looking forward. I forget the term for it, but it's where you only have a texture, even though it's a 3D space, it's a texture that always faces the camera.
Wolfenstein used. I mean, it was individual sprites. They just drew all 8 directions,
and they would change
for those sprites.
Yeah. It's good. Wow. So the fact that they took that out in the Super Nintendo version kind of sucks. It's not that good.
I feel like, because I think my first exposure, honestly, to this was the Super Nintendo version of Doom. Excuse me. I don't remember it looking very crisp. And like when you're introduced to the movement of the game and the color palettes, everything kind of bleeds together and it's hard to discern what you're looking at and where you're going. That's me when I was a kid. So looking at looking at the game now, it's a different experience, the past week looking into stuff and kind of through, better gaming eyes than what I had when I was a kid. It seems like I would have enjoyed it more. Really, when I was young, what I fell in love with was kind of the satire of it, which is it's okay to do insanely graphic, massive amounts of violence to non-humanoid things. And you see this still, like we were joking around about Marvel movies earlier, but they will have armies of aliens, the Chitauri and things that are humanoid, but not humans. And you can just mass murder all of them and you're still the good guy. But, they're very selective with the human on human deaths.
Sinstress points out, and Nazis.
Yeah,
and Nazis, of course. But I always thought that was fun. Is like if I had, I guarantee you, when I was a kid, if my parents had seen me doing a FPS type shooting other humans, like let's say GoldenEye, they would have been like, that's probably not good for you. But if they see me playing Doom and punching, straight up fisting a demon face until it explodes into blood, they'd be like, "You go get him, GP. We're proud of you." Because that's what my parents called me when I was young.
Good GP in real life, yeah.
Good job, Tiger.
You're really going someplace, son. Are you winning, son?
Yeah, this will never be your job when you get older. Okay.
Yeah, I remember playing.
You're gonna be a banker.
They never thought I'd be
Turok
older.
on the N64, and my mom walked in, and in Turok, I know it's not these two games, but it's also pretty gory. If you use a knife to kill things, you get bonus health. So I was knife killing a lot of things, and if you knife kill the mercs, they make the gurgling noises as they grab their throat. And my mom walked in at that scene and asked what the hell I was playing. But if I was shooting dinosaurs, nobody would give a crap. But yeah, the human on human violence is definitely a barrier at the bar.
I'm thinning the herd, Mom. Leave me alone.
Natural selection.
Well, and with the dinosaurs, you're not doing anything the meteor's not going to finish off, so it's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm not a space rock dad.
So I gotta say, just watching the gameplay of Doom versus Wolfenstein, there's definitely a lot of improvements that they made to the engine. It looks like there's more lighting. The textures are bigger.
You get a Z-axis. You get a Z-axis.
Stairs. That's like huge. Even I gotta say, the enemies don't look as good in a way. They do kind of look a little bit more pixelated than Wolfenstein 3D. I don't know.
I don't think so. It's just that they have more enemies. So
that's what I think.
And they didn't have to spend as much time fine-tuning the sprites to quite the degree that maybe they did in Wolfenstein 3D.
Right.
Or maybe they didn't make them at as close a scale as they did with Wolfenstein or something. But I do know what you're saying, like with the possessed Marines.
Yeah.
They definitely look a little bit less of a quality sprite than the Nazis in Wolfenstein 3D.
Also, okay to kill possessed people because they're the devil's in them. It's fine.
The devil's in them. Let's take him out.
Wow.
So the Z-axis while there is also faked.
Oh,
right?
absolutely, absolutely. But when it
you
happens,
can shoot when an enemy is like way up above and you're way down below. If you're just like a couple feet back from the wall and you can like line of sight them, Even though you're shooting at the wall, the guy up there is getting his head blown off, right?
Oh yeah, and I remember Duke Nukem took that to an even worse extreme because they had floors
pistol,
above you, like 3 floors above you, and you're shooting the wall and killing them. Like, just
my buddy and I used to on that, we used to do deathmatch in the football field, which is the final stage of the game. And he would get a jetpack and fly up and shoot me with a pistol from the other side of the goddamn screen, and he'd kill me every time. And it had it basically had auto aim on it. I freaking hated it. So we stopped doing that because I would throw my mouse everywhere when we were playing that shit.
What was the first FPS game that let you look up? Because that's the thing in these games. They didn't have that.
Metroid Prime.
I mean, I'm gonna throw out Quake. There probably was an example prior to that, but as far as popular media, probably Quake.
Okay.
I can't think. I don't know if Rise of the Triad let you do that. I don't remember Duke Nukem. Did Duke Nukem let you look up? I think it. No, I don't think it did because you would jump.
No, in
you
the
would
original
have to jump
Duke Nukem, definitely not.
The Duke Nukem 3D, the first person, not the side scroller.
I think it was a
obviously,
Bard's Tale too.
It was.
It could have been a Bard's Tale too. Yeah.
Notable first-person shooter, Bard's Tale.
Yeah.
Oregon
famously first-person shooter.
First-person.
It was
looting.
Circus Charlie.
That's what we need is a first-person Oregon Trail.
I thought it was Marvel Snap that was the first one that made you look up.
Do not
they
be
had Marvel
smirched.
Snap back this period.
The good name
of
of Marvel Snap.
I would have gotten that Voodoo graphics card.
Look, I know we're not doing our Game of the Year thing yet, and yes, I haven't downloaded Marvel Snap yet, but I would like to go ahead and submit my answer. We'll do that in a few weeks, I know, but spoiler alert for everybody.
Freaking lose my goddamn mind right now.
I don't want Sick Jake standing alone.
I derailed the podcast.
You don't need to be wrong with him. It's fine. He could be wrong by himself.
You guys,
I will not let him.
I will let. You hate every goddamn game I've liked this year. Every last one, even Circus Charlie, which I don't know anybody who hates that game except you guys. It's
okay.
Well,
coming back.
I don't know anybody who's played it.
Coming back to Doom. Oh, yeah, let's talk.
Speaking
Doom.
of uncultured swine.
Let's talk Doom 3, which, I mean, as a newer generation, it's not new generation. This came out years ago.
We're just going to pass over Doom 2. One of the greatest sequels in every first-person shooter.
Doom 2 was absolutely fantastic and played the death matches that you could play in Doom 2 were incredible. I love Doom 2.
Isn't Doom 2 just
let's go to Doom 3. That's fine. Because it's honestly Doom 2 is just more of the same of Doom 1.
It really is. It's just really additional levels essentially.
And more weapons. There's really no delineating difference between the two. Half the time I didn't know if I was playing 1 or 2 when I was playing them.
Yeah. So. But Doom 3, so Doom 3 they basically took the horror aspect and they said we're going to make a horror game. And my only real thing to say about Doom 3, now you all can talk about it, but I have one thing to say about it. Apparently in the future, they forget how to put flashlights onto weapons.
It's not needed.
Duct tape is rare in the future.
It absolutely is needed because that environment is almost 100% pitch black until you pull out your flashlight. But if you need to shoot an enemy that you illuminate and jump the fuck out of your pants for you have to put the flashlight away and pull out your weapon.
I would
have saved my story if I knew we were going to actually have an episode on Doom 3.
I believe that was a fairly quick mod by the community, was the flashlight mod taped to the weapon.
Yeah, and then the BFG edition, I think they just included it.
But I think it was a design decision to not have it unattached to the weapon. They wanted that horror
jump
aspect
scare
where you had to look over the flashlight in a panic and then whip out the gun. Gameplay wise, it was lousy. I remember playing Doom 3, and the first thing I did when I had the chance was get that mod because that's how I played it. I remember Doom 3 as the game that forced me to upgrade my graphics card. That's what I remember it as.
It was brutal. It was brutal on the equipment at the time. Now, I also have one other thing to say about it, and that is I have never been more terrified of skulls in my life than in Doom 3. Because if you look at the skulls, apparently somebody watched John Carpenter's The Thing, and took the head that grew legs. Spoiler alert, sorry, and basically said, we're going to do that with
Bro,
skulls.
it's as old as me, man. It's no spoilers. It's been around for 40 goddamn years. Go watch The Thing. It's a great movie.
One of the best horror movies ever. But there is a head that
Gospel
grows
according
legs.
to John. First off, spoiler alerts, okay, guys?
But yeah, there were skulls that were upside down skulls with spider legs, and it was absolutely terrifying.
See, I spent unwaking hours playing Doom and Doom 2 growing up. It was like the only game that I had that I really got into. Back that was on PC. I had my Genesis and my Nintendo and all that stuff, but this was my first like fucking PC game. This was cool as shit. And growing up, this is action. This is more action packed. It's got a little spook to it, but it's more like go out there and kick some ass. So that's what I'm thinking when I get Doom 3. And god damn, it was not even remotely what I thought it was going to be. I was ready to grab a chainsaw and go ham, and then instead I scream like a little girl and turn the game off, and I haven't touched it since. So
Chart and I have that same story in common. We have determined in the past.
we could either go back to the old episode where we talked about it, or we talk about it here. I don't give a crap, but it was scary. That shit was scary. I was not prepared. I was absolutely not prepared for what I went into, and I played System Shock 2, and that game was pretty damn scary too.
Fantastic game.
They're kind of bringing back that horror aspect for. I think there's a scheduled Doom project set to come out in 2025, which I'm surprised we haven't mentioned yet. But they're bringing back the aspect of horror, and I believe the full title is Doom 4: Purple Mountain Majesty. That's a deep cut. That's a callback from about 4 months ago.
That's an MP cut. We talked about that 2 days ago.
Have y'all tried out Vampire Survivors, especially on the Steam Deck? It's great.
It is great on the Steam Deck when you're doing mindless stuff. Yeah,
It
like watching your favorite streamer.
I don't know. There's not like something else that came out in February or anything.
Jake is gonna dub every game that came out this year the game of the freaking year, except for the actual one.
It's been a big year for Sick Jake, okay?
Yeah,
it really has been.
It's fine.
Right.
You guys played Pokemon Arceus? Yeah, it's got to be game of the year. I haven't beaten it, but it's definitely up there.
I never said
I did, and
Arceus
it's not
game of the year. And yes, fuck you. I haven't beaten it, but it's on my list.
You ever play Pokemon Lavender? I know it's only been out for like a day, but that's certainly going to be game of the year. Without question, 2020.
Finally.
I'm not buying the new Pokemon game. I just can't. I have too much to play.
You keep saying that, but you're going to buy a Steam Deck, and then you're going to get both of them on there.
Oh, I need an arcade stick before I get a fucking Steam Deck. That's what I need to do.
You have like 20 arcade sticks. What do you mean you need an arcade
The
stick?
snack box is like this big.
You need an arcade stick like I need another hole in the head, as my mother would say.
Look, I don't want to hear from the guy who just spent $800 on a Steam Deck.
Thank you.
You're talking about like, I'm going to go get a dock. I'm going to hook up to my monitor. It's like a computer. You have a fucking computer. Why do you want a dock?
Not in my living room. But I do now.
Wild to me. Wild to me. You're telling me not to buy the expansions in Marvel Snap because
you know what? You know what plays natively on the Steam Deck? Game of the Year, Elden Ring.
It does comfortably, quite well actually.
Yeah, a lot of things play in this.
That's another reason it's game of the year. Don't worry, you're gonna get a lot of this fire next week. Don't worry.
I play Marvel Snap up until we do. Deck. Yeah.
No, I don't play that. I don't download garbage.
Free to play. Great.
Okay, so
until you pay for packs.
I'll save this for your discussions later.
What do you have? What do you have for us, Werewolf?
Yeah. Bringing it back to the topic. So I played both.
It's my fault.
Wolfenstein 3D and Doom this week.
Mm-hmm.
And for all the advancements Doom made over Wolfenstein, there was one glaring issue I had with it that frustrated me to hell and made me decide that Wolfenstein is the better game. So, graphically, way better. Sound design, way better. All this stuff, right? But you know what you could do in Wolfenstein 3D that you can't do in Doom? Is reassign the controls.
Really?
Really?
So you can actually play Wolfenstein with WASD like we do nowadays because it makes sense. You can't do that with Doom. You either have to use the wonky mouse moving around in various directions.
No, don't do that.
The arrow keys. and it's awful. And you can't make the mouse not do that stuff. The mouse will still do that stuff. You can't turn that off.
Right.
These
You
are,
set the
like,
mouse aside. You have to like
the
move it
game
away.
was virtually unplayable for me in this
Can I use
regard.
this? Did that work?
I mean, if you can map those keys to the arrow keys, yes.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if you can put Doom on a pregnancy test, you can play Doom with that thing.
So yeah, the remapped controls is a huge thing for this game, to where Doom was basically unplayable, and it was also really slippery for some reason. Every time you'd stop, he had like momentum. The character you're playing as has a ton of momentum, and so you let go of a direction, and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna go 15 more feet."
You try to break from a run that fast, man, carrying all that
Dude,
shit.
I'm like, I'm strolling, okay? I'm going slow, back and
bebopping
forth
around
on that
Mars
zigzag,
into
trying
hell.
not to fall off. And
This guy's going full
Doom.
speed, man. He had his advanced GG, and that guy's just out there to kick ass and take names.
It's the Hanna-Barbera physics. All they need is the Fred Flintstone. Yeah, yeah. That's what we do. Can we get a ROM hack of Doom? But whenever you're running through the things, you get the kind of Hanna-Barbera things, or like slide whistle effect.
Yeah, we need that,
and like the
sound
Benny
effects.
Hill song.
Yeah.
That's the thing with Doom. Doom opened up a modding community, huge, right? Isn't the Castlevania game that came out was a ROM hack or a ROM hack? It was a game hack of Doom, I believe. There's a ton of hacks of Doom and the engine, and a lot of
there's a Mega Man one too, isn't there? There's a Mega Man deathmatch first person that's built off of Doom's core engine or whatever.
It's wild too.
Mega Man rips off that pea shooter from his arm and slaps a BFG on it.
Right. No, it's him, and it's got his blue arm cannon, and it's right in front of him, and he's running around and he's killing the other robot masters. There's the pixelated, they're 2D, but they're in the 3D world, like walking around like that. And it's like a deathmatch thing that you do.
So it's a Mega Man that I might be able to beat.
Well, hold on now.
Yeah, well, let's up the brakes. So if we throw Mario 1 in 3D, you'll be able to beat it?
It's been awesome hanging out with y'all.
I believe in you.
Well, that makes one of us.
I believe in you. I just giving you shit because I love you.
No, I actually, real quick aside, I've been trying to practice shell tipping this week.
I typically do 15%.
I have tipped it a few times, but not enough to get a 1-up yet.
Okay. All right. No, I think that's the golden ticket to that game. So, well,
10-15% usually my rate.
Well, if you're Ticketmaster, those lives are expensive.
Anywho,
not a laugh at all.
Doom 2016, huh? Let's kick it up a notch.
So the one good thing about Doom 16, I think, is it gets away from the crap of Doom 3 with the horror elements, the slower paced gameplay, and 2016 Doom is completely action packed. Like when I played that game, I love how it's a combo of is it melee attacks get you ammo, and then shooting with the ammo gets you health or something, right?
Yeah.
Then, or you do the melee, you'll get life, but if you use the chainsaw, you'll get ammunition.
That's what it is. Right. Oh my gosh. And the minute you pick up a quad damage, GP, what was the question? What was the question you asked earlier? When we started talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
More than just a it is much more than just a
Can that be
you stand up and you're like, yes, and you punch the shit out of your monitor and you have to buy a new one. Because you're just like, I'm gonna kill everything. It's pretty intense.
My first experience with 2016, I was streaming it and I got that quad damage, and I may have the VOD somewhere. I was giddy. Like I was, oh my god, this is absolutely like just It was great.
You guys watch Finding Nemo, right? When the turtle's about to hit the rip curl, and it's all righteous. That's what it feels like. It
really does.
I've never been that close to my monitor before when I was like, fucking yes.
Doom 2016, which is a wild game. It really just brought it back to taking everything from the classic Doom and just modernizing it in every way. Really fantastic game. Have you guys played Doom Eternal? Is it any good?
I was playing it at the beginning of this episode. Yes.
Oh, and you loop
I
deck?
like it. Yeah, that's what I was playing on the loop deck. Yes. On the stream deck. Don't sue me. It basically, I mean, where you had the story in Doom's 2016, there was kind of a story that went along with it, and it was showing you the more intensity, the more craziness, the more the animation of, you know, doing the melee hits where there's different ways to kill the dude with your bare hands. This one is literally, they just take the action and they're like, yeah, there's a story, but fuck it. Like, you're just out there just to absolutely just maim and destroy. And there's all these additions to the weapons. It's a lot like Doom 2 in the aspect of, like, I don't remember what the hell I'm doing in Doom Eternal. I just know that I'm having fun doing it, and that it's happening. I believe it's happening on Earth as opposed to in Doom 2016. It's all on Mars, if I'm not mistaken. And they unlock hell. They're using, the whole basis is they're tapping into hell to get unlimited energy to power the world, and it goes wrong. Shocker.
So it's the reverse of Monsters Inc.
Essentially,
God.
Yes, actually, yes.
You were so brave to speak that.
But then Doom Eternal basically takes place on Earth, as far as I know, because hell hath spilleth over, and you're up there trying to clean all this shit up. But it's more high octane. It's more just action packed, just action. There's no break until there's the only time there's a break is when you're like, okay, I'm done playing this for a little bit, because I literally am exhausted from playing this game, because there's so much going on when you play it.
Fun bit of trivia, that limitless energy that they're tapping into in hell, that is the suffering of Nazis.
There you go. That's why we did Wolfenstein and Doom. You see, that's why we married
brought it together.
It really is kind of a full ticket trying to put both of those titles and those franchises, because they're both so storied and so, you know, old at this point. Either one of these is deserving of its own episode if you ever want to do a deep dive. But yeah, I love the kind of obvious, well, let's compare and contrast these. But yeah, there's still so much that has to go left, like, unsaid, just because of time constraints. But yeah, I love it.
Yeah, we're barely scratching the surface. I mean, we really are just glossing over, like, how those two, initially when we discussed it, chat, we were going to talk about verses, but the more we talked about it, it was more of, let's make it less verses, is more, and like, how do these two work together in tandem into the first person shooter realm that we know today. And they couldn't have gone more, you know, down their own separate paths to do it, but they're still doing the same shit. But, like, what I like about Wolfenstein is that it kept its old stealthiness. It kept its more, again, it's not real. I get it's not realistic, but it's more humanistic. It's more, this is war, and we're out there to try and stop this, and we're, you know, it's the human condition and blah blah blah. While Doom is literally just like, kill everything in your path. Yeah. That's all there is to it. There's no, we don't care. They'll be like, there's a story, and you're like, fuck, I don't care. Give me a chainsaw. You know, I'm gonna rip and shred and tear through this whole thing. And that's like the slogan, is like, rip and shred through everything. That's the point of that. So when Doom came out after Wolfenstein, it had that kick-ass take names feel to it, which then spawned Limitless, Serious Sam, Duke Nukem 3D, Rise of the Triad, so on and so forth. There's so many different FPSs, Quake, all that other stuff that came out.
Let's talk id, right? Because id really has the trifecta. They have Wolfenstein 3D, they have Doom, and they have Quake, right? And you brought it up, like, Wolfenstein is that stealth, you know, like, I need to sneak around a little bit. As you mentioned, Doom is just kind of go out there and kill everything. And then Quake really kind of brought in that death match, you know, that a lot of people love, right? Like, look at Halo, right? How many people play the Halo death matches? And that really, I mean, that whole genre really stems off of Quake, right? And so like, Carmack and Romero really kind of defined the genre, right? All three aspects. And there's probably, I mean, now we can go into war games and all that stuff, but I mean,
Like there's other games,
But that's
like there's Marathon back then as well, and that was defining. That was what eventually became, you know, Halo to a degree. Like there's other first-person shooters that kind of came out of it, but when I think about the origin of FPS games, you're right. It really is the three from id Software: Quake, Doom, and
Wolfenstein. Yeah.
Hexen, Blood. Those were those ids too. I think
They were.
I thought
They were id.
Yeah,
They were id.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They were
But
just
yeah,
the
I mean,
medieval
Were they really?
version of
Blood
Doom.
was
Yeah.
id Software too.
I don't know about
it was,
Blood.
actually.
I don't know about
I'm
Blood.
sorry. It's Heretic and Hexen, I believe, are the
Okay.
ids
Right.
ones.
I do love the idea of it's the same feel, the same thing, but and this is just going back to the two we're talking about, Wolfenstein and Doom. And Wolfenstein is very see if you can make it to the end, whereas
Mhm.
Doom is get the fuck out. And it's really just which one do you prefer? How do you want to run it? You know what I mean?
Right.
And
Right.
yeah, just brilliant. And honestly, growing up, I definitely would have been the see if you can make it to the end, Wolfenstein. But now I can definitely see me oscillating between those two because, as we were joking about Limp Bizkit's break stuff, sometimes you just want to go in and blow everything up and be like, "Fuck you guys, we're in hell anyways. Let's just do this thing." And I love it. It's chaos and it's madness.
It's funny because in Wolfenstein, there are multiple ways to get through certain areas. Like it's sneaking around, and if you alert something, then it sucks. But you can grab some ammunition and do it. But it's still sparse. It's not a survival type, but it's still sparse. With Doom, there's literally only one way to do it, and that's just to wreck and tear ass. It's a battle of attrition in every room you go in. That's all there is to it. You have to last longer than everything else out there that's trying to just maim and destroy you.
Sexual.
You like that?
You got to be the hardest man in the room. Hardest person.
Yep.
But you know what I mean? So
the energy of the
Final
two games
Fantasy
could be more
8,
different.
9.
Yeah.
They're about.
Well, no. Wolfenstein's not Final Fantasy 8. Come on now. It's more like, I don't know, 6 versus
I said
7.
8, 9.
Oh, 8, 9. I don't, the energy could be more different. Like Doom, when you play Doom, just again, that going back to the soundtrack is so iconic for that game, and it just puts you in a different mindset. Did I miss a joke?
By the way,
okay,
you did miss a joke. That's fine. No, Doom's soundtrack is baller. That shit is bang.
Yeah.
I mean, it spawned hundreds of memes of when the Doom music kicks in and it's someone destroying something.
Run.
It is true. Yeah, it's absolutely insane.
Fun little bit of info. There is an MT32 MIDI soundtrack for Doom, and it's great.
Really?
Yeah, it's great.
Mm-hmm. Are you sure it's not on the harpsichord?
Acoustic guitar, you asshole.
I love you so much, Sinister. Thank you for putting up with my shit.
Fucking acoustic harpsichord. You interrupt me to tell me it's a harpsichord, you idiot.
Triggered.
My cheeks hurt.
There's a lot of deep cuts in this.
Yeah, so many inside jokes, folks. We bash each other all week.
I'm telling you, those Marco Polo should be on Patreon.
I don't know. We might get sued.
Yeah.
Somebody will sue us. Somebody. I don't know. I'll start doing out that bathroom Patreon content real soon. Anything else to talk about Wolfenstein or Doom? I think we covered quite a bit.
I would just say, if you want an experience of the history and then where it is today, play through the Wolfenstein set, play through the Doom set. I mean, start from the beginning, make it to the end, and as Chard points out, very different genres in the FPS, and it's great. It is worthwhile. I love the new Wolfensteins. I love the new, at least 2016 Doom. I need to play Eternal, but yeah, they're fantastic. Absolutely.
I need to see if I can find my Nintendo 64. I got to see if I can find.
Hey, look, get your bingo.
All right, there it is.
Out.
Sorry, that was just for the bingo card.
Bingo card.
Yep.
Actually, funny enough, Hexen
you can't trigger
N64.
an event. That's not fair. It's got to happen naturally.
Hexen on the N64, it's actually a fantastic game. And I've played more Hexen than I have Doom. I like Hexen quite a bit with the different character classes and stuff. It's
I've
fun.
never played Hexen.
Hexen's a blast.
I got a story about both Hexen and Heretic. When I was younger, I think I told you guys this. When I was younger, my buddy growing up, he and I, we did it. We were best friends. We did everything together. He we used to have a guy down the street that had like an open LAN between the two computers that we could download files from one another. And he had Hexen and Heretic, and we spent literally 8 hours all night, not sleeping, waiting for Hexen and Heretic to download from his. Actually, it was one game at the time because 8 hours was fast back in the day. And by the time it was finished, we were so delirious with the lack of sleep, we passed out in the computer chairs with the game running. It was amazing. And that's honestly, out of all the things of Heretic that I remember, that night is the only thing I remember about Heretic was being just fucking drunk with lack of sleep, waiting for that game to download.
And that's Sock Hour.
That is Sock Hour. That's exactly what that is.
That's the Sock Hour energy for sure. All right, folks. GP, what are you up to lately? Anything you want to shout out, or anybody you've been watching that you want to call out?
Well, honestly, I kind of did at the top of the show. I'm still like on whatever it is, the gaming historian is selling. But if we're talking about streamers and stuff, just Chard all day, all night, till the Sock Hour.
Till the Sock Hour cometh.
Wolf, how about you work?
When that Sock Hour hits.
I've not been as active as I'd like, but TikTok and YouTube, I will get things going again. I started and then got busy.
That's parenthood.
It's life, man.
Yeah,
it's life.
We call that
life.
That
TikTok with Parasite TikTok. I think that's quite good. I hope that's doing well for you.
Parasite TikTok?
Cool. Yeah.
Parasite Eve.
Oh, okay. Parasite Eve, Parasite, whatever. Tomato, it's the same damn thing.
Charlie, Charles. Same.
It's all a snap.
Carnival.
Sister, how about you? What are you up to lately? Anything you want to call out?
I'm watching Twitter burn to the ground. It's great. And hanging out with Chard. Everybody go watch Chard on Twitch. Chard Monk.
Stop it.
Don't.
This is a team thing.
Otherwise, I'm here. But twitch.tv/ChardMonk.
Chard, outside Twitch, what are you up to?
Fucking working a lot. I've been working a lot of hours at work, so my Twitch is still pretty active. It's very active, extremely active, but I'm not. My hours have changed quite significantly until the end of the year. But I will be doing quite a bit of streaming here in the coming weeks, and at the end of December, prepare to see a lot of me because that shit's going down hard for at least a week and a half. Yeah. Otherwise, find me here. Yeah, giggity.
And I'm Sick Jake. I'll say you can find me on Twitter for as long as it lasts, but you can also find me at Mastodon. I go look it up. Read a book. It's Sick Jake at Mast.2. You can find me there. You can also find me on the Retro Wars podcast. I did 2 episodes with that guy. I think the first one comes out next week. I don't know his schedule.
Yeah, when's that shit hitting, man? I've been waiting on that. I've been waiting for that to drop. I want to hear it.
Yeah, drop it on the Twitter. Oh,
Link's Awakening, and then I did an episode.
Drop it on the Mastodon.
Comes out next year. So,
yeah,
he has.
Drop it on the Toadon.
Yeah,
that's what we'll call it now.
You know what they call him? They call him Toots instead of Tweets.
Oh my god, I love that.
That's even better than mine.
Drop that toot.
Well,
like it's hot.
I'm already well ahead of that. I have tooted so much.
Yeah,
Toots.
That's what
I love it here.
If you toot more than a few times in an hour, it's just called a dump.
A toot dump.
Hey, everybody!
That's way too many toots.
Like and subscribe on YouTube.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Before Twitter burns to the ground,
please.
Follow us on Twitter or YouTube.
Yeah.
And hey,
follow us where it doesn't matter.
In all reality, if Twitter does vanish within the waking hours, please follow us on Discord. Join our Discord. We are very active on there. We love to talk to the people that come and watch and listen. So those of you who are not normally watching the live stuff, please come find us on Discord because we'd love to have your opinion about what we're doing here.
Yes.
Yeah,
Press
come and watch and
Marvel
listen.
Snap /Tunic Fun Zone where I drop hot.
Please,
game tips.
I am going to block that channel, so don't worry.
Such a
Hey,
fantastic
everybody.
Good thing I'm a mod.
Press B to cancel.com. You'll find all our links there.
Yes.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Quad damage.
Perfect.